wanted to share with you about the latest thing I have made. I made macarons. Now, there is a difference between macaroons and macarons. So if you don't know the difference, I will post a little description below of what a macaron is and what a macaroon is. But if you keep watching, you will see what a macaron is because I made some the other day. I watched the Kids Baking Championship, and I mean, if a 10-year-old can do it, surely I can make a macaron. So I did some research, and then I actually found in my library, I have a Martha Stewart baking handbook. And I looked at the date, it's dated 2005. And I thought, you know, I love Martha. She is kind of like the queen of baking and cooking and home decor and party hosting, crafting, everything all rolled up into one little bundle. And I thought, well, if Martha can make macarons, I can do it too, and she's gonna help me make it. Well, I hate to say this, Martha failed me. She left out a crucial step in her recipe book. And when she did that, it completely ruined my macarons. So I will tell you what she left out, and I will give you some do's and don'ts and where I researched my macarons and how they turned out. Actually, I have made 3 batches, and the 3rd batch turned out the best. So where Martha failed me was after you make your macaron dough, she just had you put it straight into the oven. Now, I should have known better, because in my research, I heard about it, you leaving it out and letting it form a skin. But I thought, well, Martha knows, right? So maybe I'll just do what she said. Well, when I did that, it did not grow any feet. And if you wonder what little feet are, here's a picture that will show you what feet are. So my first batch came out with no feet. And they still tasted fine. They were still sweet and airy, but they were not the macarons, right? So I did a little bit more research. Why do my macarons not have feet? Type that in. Lo and behold, the skin, not letting it form a skin, was the #1 reason. So lesson number 1. So I've got some do's and don'ts, okay? So first, don't listen to Martha. Just kidding, I love Martha. She just kind of failed me. One thing I did the first batch also was I used I had some egg whites, which I use in icings and different things. And they're in a carton, and they're pasteurized. So I thought, this is perfect. I'll just use these egg whites. That apparently is a no-no for making macarons. You need to actually use eggs. Separate your egg whites from them. So don't use the carton egg whites. Another thing I did, I had 2 trays of macarons, and so I just put them in the oven. That's a don't, because some of my macarons were cracked on top. They kind of had hollow places, and that was because I had 2 trays in the oven. When you put 2 trays in the oven, you will have kind of weird air circulation, and it's not going to bake evenly. So those are my 2 big, huge don'ts. Okay. What I did after I did some research. Wilton had some great tips. Tasty, I don't know if you ever watched any of their videos, but Tasty had some great tips and tricks. And then also I found this vlog on YouTube called Preppy Kitchen, and he had some great tips and tricks as well. So here are all of my collection of do's that I have found. The first one is age your egg whites, which all that means is you separate your egg whites a day or 24 hours before you're going to make your macarons, and cover them with saran wrap, poke some holes in them, not in them, but in the saran wrap, and then stick them in your refrigerator. So this helps them dehydrate a little bit, because you don't want your mix to be too wet. And it also helps relax proteins in the eggs. I don't know, that's just what they said. Maybe we should ask Alton Brown and see what he says. But anyway, age your egg whites. Let them skin over. So once you get them piped out on your mat, on your pans, let them set for 30 minutes to 60 minutes. Now when I made them, my second batch, they skinned over pretty quickly in about 30 minutes. When I made them today, it took almost an hour because it's a lot more humid today than it was a few days ago. And so humidity really plays a part. So if you live in a humid place, it's gonna take them a while to skin over, but they will eventually. And when I say skin over, I'll stick a little video in to show you what that looks like, but basically you're gonna be able to touch them without getting any residue on your finger. But now I can touch them very lightly. No macaron. That's the skin. Now if I were to, my little tip, if I were to like push my finger down, then yes, I would dent them. But you have to be patient. You have to allow time to make these. Once they have a skin, then they're ready to go into your oven. All right, another do was what I found in Tasty and also in Preppy Kitchen. Of course, you sift the powdered sugar and the almond flour, but they also put them in a food processor to make sure that they're extra fine. Because even though your package on your almond flour says finely ground, it's still a lot coarser than regular flour. So I followed Preppy Kitchen and I sifted the two ingredients and I put them in the food processor and processed them for a while. Then I sifted them again. Then I put them back in the food processor again, and then I sifted them again. And this is where a nice sifter is going to come in handy. And if you haven't checked out my video on my KitchenAid stand mixer review, where I reviewed a sifter attachment, you might want to check that out. I'll put a link up for you on that one. It saves a lot of time for sifting. So those are my do's. Now, you have to plan ahead a little bit. You just can't wake up one day and go, oh, I'm gonna make macarons this morning. You gotta kind of plan. It takes like a day or so if you're gonna properly do them. Now you can make them without aging your egg whites, but things are just gonna go a lot better for you. And also another tip I had is they're fine to eat immediately after you've made the macarons. Let them cool and then fill them with buttercream, icing, or jelly, or whatever you want to do. You can fill them with whatever. But the tip I found was let them set for a day or so, because then that gives it a really good texture. Having said that though, they're really good to eat immediately also. So they're a little bit time consuming, they're a little finicky, and also they're not cheap to make. Almond flour, for somebody who is used to buying regular flour at like $1.25 for 5 pounds, a small bag of almond flour can run you $6 to $9, which was a bit of a sticker shock for me. So they're not always cheap to make. However, it doesn't take the whole package of almond flour, so you can make several batches out of one package. So I hope this was helpful for you to make macarons. I would definitely suggest them. It was a learning experience, but it was a lot of fun making them as well. And I see a lot of macarons in my future. Once you get the basic circle shape down, you can pipe them in all kinds of different shapes. Hearts, because Valentine's Day is coming up soon. Little heart-shaped macarons would be really sweet. So I've just seen teddy bears, tacos. I've seen all kinds of different shapes out there. So you can go out there and have a lot of fun and get creative with those macarons. If you have any questions, post them down below. Give this video a big thumbs up. And if you haven't had a chance yet, please subscribe to my channel, where I will share with you my cake and cookie baking successes. I'm also going to show you my disasters. So stick around. I'm going to show you what they looked like first batch, second batch, and third batch. And you can see the progression as I learned, got a little better. Still a fun process to do. So for my kitchen ears, have a wonderful day.